years after our independence, it is time to put our institutions to the test. It is time to make the distinction between those institutions that are worthy and those that are fraught with decay. It is time to question our responsibility towards our institutions and to put the force of individual empowerment behind them to make them work. Hello and welcome to the Ministers of Change. I'm Shireen Khan. This week on the Ministers of Change, we put the spotlight on what the state government is doing to give Jaipur a makeover.
If we are able to develop the satellite town, then migration can be checked to some extent.
We examine how the government is leveraging the power of public-private partnerships to deliver the basics.
Build public-private partnerships in education, make them work and publicize them and make them happen quickly. Things take too long.
And we bring you an assessment of Ashok Gehlot's second term as Chief Minister.
He's not the kind of leader who you would associate with a slew of new schemes, big high-profile changes and so on. That's not Ashok Gehlot's style.
The social structure of Rajasthan is oppressive. It's not only the feudals are old things now. It's the mafias, the gangs. Because feudalism gives birth under capitalism to gangsterism. And what were the old feudals now become the new gangsters.
Traditionally, Rajasthan was known for Jat, Rajput rivalry. But gradually, OBCs have started entering politics, and a quiet kind of mandalization has begun in Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot himself comes from Mali community, which is an OBC community. The whole dispute between Meenas and Gujars is, among other things, about staking claims to power.
To my mind, the best answer to caste is urbanization, because cities are anonymous. Our villages may be virtuous in a million other ways, but they are not anonymous. The village identity follows you.
Landlocked Rajasthan is today sandwiched between a highly urbanized Gujarat, an urban Delhi and national capital region, and a rapidly urbanizing Haryana. 31% of India today lives in cities and towns, but rapid urbanization is often a misnomer for progress and development, because 75% of urban India still lives at the bottom of the income segment, earning an average 82 rupees a day. Addressing lives in India's cities becomes an important pillar for achieving inclusive growth. It was probably with this in mind that the Congress-led UPA 2 in December 2005 launched the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission for 7 years, with a total planned investment of 100,000 crore rupees, with a committed central government share of 50,000 crore rupees. Rajasthan accounts for 7% of the central government's fund allocation under the mission, and these funds are being used to develop roads, housing and water management systems in Jaipur, Ajmer and Pushkar.
In many ways, Rajasthan is like many other Indian states. Economic development has stimulated urbanization, but lack of investment in infrastructure and services has led to an overall deterioration in the quality of their life. The extreme social and public health problems being faced daily by the public, particularly the urban poor, would worsen if investment in urban infrastructure and human resources is not undertaken, which is followed by adequate support in terms of institutional and policy reforms.
We have set up a State Urbanization Commission. This commission is based on the National Commission on Urbanization, which was set up about 20 years back, to look at the entire urbanization process and to advise what policies should be followed so that the urbanization takes place in a regulated manner and the cities don't develop like sprawls. Then second is that our own master plans, they are being now drawn, and we are in these master plans also focusing on development of the satellite towns. Like in the bigger cities like Jaipur, there are a few satellite towns around the city of Jaipur, which will be developed in the coming few years. So if we are able to develop the satellite towns, then migration can be checked to some extent. And then the scheme like REY, where the declared objective is to make India slum-free, and also to check the new slums coming up by providing housing beforehand.
This urban housing project near Jaipur city is one such project being developed in the public-private partnership mode. Ashok Gehlot's pet urban development project, this pilot will provide over 11,000 homes and stands to be replicated in other urban centers as well.
इस तरह की स्कीम्स अभी जीडी ने निकाली है जो बेसिकली लो इनकम ग्रुप के लिए अच्छी पहल है और जस्ट आगे भी अच्छा सक्सेसफुल होगा।
टोटल कॉस्ट 2,40,000 रुपये आती है, जिसकी कि हमारे को फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट तकरीबन 8,100 कुछ रुपये जमा करवानी है। इसके अलावा बैंक का जो लोन का सिस्टम दिया हुआ है, ये बहुत ही अच्छा प्रयत्न है सरकार द्वारा।
And Jaipur's urban renewal doesn't stop at just housing. Over the last decade, the Rajasthan Urban Infrastructure Development Project, a joint venture between the government and the Asian Development Bank, has been working in 15 urban centres across the state, with a special focus on building roads, rail overbridges and water management systems.
The nature of interventions are same as that of the first urban sector loan. However, the cities are different. Whereas we had 6 cities in the first one sector loan, there are 15 cities in the second investment program. In terms of quantities, we are doing some water treatment plant with combined capacities of over 100 million liters per day. There are 125 million liters per day of sewage treatment capacities would be created. Some 14 municipal solid waste sanitary landfill sites will be constructed. 13 rail overbridges or flyovers would be constructed in the second program in those 15 towns, and there would be some heritage conservation works also undertaken in the second investment program.
ADB's heritage conservation work over the last few years has included lake conservation in Udaipur and the restoration of the Sanganeri Gate in the walled city of Jaipur. Already a major tourist destination in India, the government now wants to project Jaipur as a world-class city. This has meant an overhaul in the public transport system. After the 2 years of flip-flop on the Jaipur Metro project, work began in 2010. Phase 1 of the project is being handled by the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation and will be commissioned in 2013.
The biggest flagship program in Jaipur and Rajasthan, I think, is the Jaipur Metro project, which is overall about 10,000 crore project. We have taken up phase 1 of the project, which is about 9.25 kilometers, costing almost 2,000 crores. And that project has been entrusted to DMRC. And thereafter, the bigger part of the project, we hope to take up under public-private partnership model, for which also action has been initiated. RFQ we issued, and we have got response from 5 major players in the country, and now we are at the RFP stage, and hopefully by the end of this year we would be finalizing the private developer who would be taking up the phase 2 of the project.
Jaipur's metro system is in addition to the BRT, phase 1 of which has already been completed with funds from the central, state and international lending agencies. In phase 2, the Jaipur Development Authority is looking at creating elevated corridors to synchronize work on the BRT and the metro.
The way the city is expanding, I think we will need additional routes very soon. So we are in fact have taken the initiative rather than having been compelled to undertake the work. In a manner of speaking, planning in advance, for an eventuality that's staring in the face. And the city is now really, growing by leaps and bounds. And in another 10 years, it would be not something, would be, some people would say that, well, why do you go in for at this juncture when it's not such a large city? But it is planning for the future, 10 years from now, when the city will, be the size of Ahmedabad or something.
But the implementation of these projects has been fraught with delays. The delays on account of interrupted funding and also slow execution due to the lack of human resource capabilities. The state is now working to improve both. By decentralizing decision-making and handing over financial authority to the local bodies, the Rajasthan government is hopeful that there will be speedier execution of projects. The government has also set up the Centre for Urban Affairs, a nodal agency that will be responsible for formulating development plans in association with the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank.
One of our biggest issues is not can we find all the talent in these smaller cities, because frankly that's where we go to recruit them anyway. One of our biggest challenges is who's going to manage them if we set up operations there, because the bulk of managers who work in Delhi or Bombay or Mumbai or Bangalore or any of these cities actually aren't willing to move. And the reason is very simple. They don't have an ecosystem of society, of entertainment, of schools, of jobs for spouses. And if you can make that work again, you will pull people towards you, because it is, after all, a wonderful city to live in.
And that's the gap Jayshree Pariwal, a first-generation entrepreneur, hopes to plug with her chain of schools. Step by Step High School is Rajasthan's first school to offer an IB degree. Courses and facilities here are designed to appeal to an upwardly mobile middle class and expats who are increasingly making Jaipur a base for business. And for Jayshree Pariwal, it's been easy doing business in Rajasthan.
The JDS secretary then, he came forward and he said, like, we'd love to help you. We'd love to help people who actually want to empower the city. So my files just moved with speed that's not imaginable. It was like so good. And I didn't face blockades anywhere, no hurdles. It was so quick that we could set up the school in 7 months flat.
Coming up next on the Ministers of Change. When we return, we take stock of Ashok Gehlot's second term as Chief Minister.